What?
Okay, this is our next session, which is called Resilient by Design, Ukrainian Enterprises Powering Economic Recovery. And of course, you know the ambassador from Ukraine to Canada who will introduce the panelists and take it from here. Please welcome back to the stage, Natalka Smots.
She's happy. It is the CEO, co-founder, Sigma Software Group. Second guest, drum roll please, Vasyl Danilyak. CEO of Alco and Galnavtogas. Did I say that right? Galnavtogas. Okay. And our third but not least, Denis Vasylyevich, Head of Global Relations and Impact, Nova Global.
I'll lift it up. Please.
Thank you very much for joining us here today. And more than that, thank you for traveling all the way to Canada to be here. It's a long drive. We all took it. We all did the drive or the train and then the long flight here. So I really appreciate it. I think it's an important to have your perspectives here since we've been talking all day about doing business in Ukraine. And I'm always curious to know, what is your reaction as people are describing what it's like to work in Ukraine when you are working in Ukraine? And just sort of as an opener, just a quick answer, would love to know if you could tell us just a little bit in terms of your sector, but if you could say what maybe one or two things, what has changed since the full-scale invasion? How has the full-scale invasion impacted your particular business? Who would like to go first?
Okay, probably we are like oil business. We had the biggest changes from the beginning of big war, because effectively before the 2022, most of oil products to Ukraine moves from the north side, from the east side, also from the sea, almost zero from western part. We was only the company who worked a little bit with the Polish Orlen during last 15 years, but it was peanuts versus the oil market. The oil market was like 12 million metric ton, and starting the war, the three sides of our usual supply was closed immediately, and all the companies from our industry start to sign agreement and find the new partners effectively on the west, and thanks God, and we had a quite good reaction from our old partners from Poland, from Greece, from Italy, from Croatia, etc., and also from US as well, because we also bought from that. And very quickly, during 4 months, probably starting the war, the deficit was win, and oil products on the time on late June 2022 moves from the western from the Western Europe, and the logistic channel also completely changed. And now, as you see the different channels, how the oil products move to Ukraine, you can see the sea, you can see river, you can see the trains, and you can see also trucks. we had during this war, we had the huge problem was a missile attack of our fuel depots, and for all companies, and it was destroyed only in our company. It was destroyed like 7 of them. 7. It mean like 40%. Yeah, 40% from all
That's
capacity.
actually quite significant.
Yeah. But nobody died, nobody bankruptcy, and everybody worked. We somehow recover our assets. Our last example, 8 weeks ago, we had missile attack on our gas station in Kharkiv city, and it was totally destroyed. And during 2 days, only 2 days, we completely recovered and put under operation the station. It was brilliant, and thanks our heroic employees who hard working and make happen and create the excellent service for our customers during this war.
Thank you very much. Pravdas, Panin Dennis, if you could maybe describe a little bit from your sector, which is very different.
Thank you so much, Natalka. Yes, definitely the start of the war, it was a new normality. And, before the company, which was launched by 2 entrepreneurs, not oligarchs, but entrepreneurs, it was developed for 24 years in Ukraine, and we didn't have any operations abroad. So it was the first point on the day 0, when just for the whole day, the level of shipments dropped to 0. But the next day it started to grow because all the infrastructure has been shifted and transferred, like to conversion, to serve the Ukrainian people. Whatever requirements and services they wanted, because they started to leave the country. So it was the matter of personal belongings, it was the humanitarian aid, it was help to our community. So it's a huge, broad number of new operations, which, like as a private sector, private business, the shareholders managed to build this. And that's why now in Ukraine, it still is, Nova Posta is a love mark. So why it is love mark? Because people who just leave the country, they want the services, they want the standards, and they want to feel the part of Ukraine. Because it's not only the shipment of parcels, it's the shipment of Ukraine's spirit, it's the shipment of Ukraine energy and opportunities. So, it was a great shift from the like a shipping company, like career operator, to a full-fledged ecosystem, which can be adjusted and adopted to all the needs of Ukrainian citizens. So that's why now we have our presence in 17 European countries. We have 45,000 of service points in Ukraine. So we serve and reach out to every remote communities, right? And we try to be the first when the territory is occupied. Unfortunately, we have less cases right now, but definitely we will have these cases. So we, have this resilience, as we say, and trust by all sectors, by all means, because we have been very instrumental into these issues.
Thank you. And perhaps Maletti, and you're in the IT sector, which was booming since the full-scale invasion. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, actually, when it comes to IT sector, we were a little bit better prepared since the pandemic, obviously, because we're quite used to work remotely and we don't need to be on site all the time. Of course, we have to go and meet our customers and have joint meetings. Then from 2014, when the war has started, not the full-scale invasion, but at that time, we also made a few very significant steps in securing our infrastructure, because we have distributed our data centers across Europe and America and Canada, so that to be resilient and to be prepared for all these things. However, we also had our own challenges. So we started the company in Kharkiv,
in 2002, more than 20 years ago. I'm one of the co-founders with friends. Now we are more than 2,000 people in 20 countries. We have customers across the whole world. We deliver IT solutions to different big clients like Volvo, like Comcast, Verizon, in different sectors, telecom, automotive, aviation. And for us, the main challenge was to obviously evacuate people because we had the really significant part of our team located in Kharkiv. However, we were very well prepared. So we prepared all our BCV plans, business continuity plans. And even now we are sharing with our colleagues in different countries. They're very much interested how you were able to do that. Please share with us these BCV plans. The challenging part of that was when you work with the big customers and the big corporations, they normally have in their BCP plans the certain points when they couldn't work with the personnel which is located in a country under martial law. So that was a huge challenge for us to persuade them that we will continue delivering. They shouldn't be afraid, even if they have the certain policies that we could help them to prove that everything is secure with the deliveries to the shareholders, and we have done that. We haven't lost any single client, our company, but I know about other Ukrainian companies that they have more or less the same situation. And we haven't failed any milestone because even those people who were in transit in Ukraine, other people were backed them up and were working just like 24/7, helping them to relocate, but also backing them with the day-to-day activities. So that was a really amazing thing. I can tell you one interesting. So we actually have lost one customer, very small client from the US, and CEO was very much concerned about the war in Ukraine and said that he's not going to continue working with us. It's too dangerous. However, the whole board of directors was against that, but he was the CEO and he took his decision. So we stopped working with them, and in about a year, they came back to us and said that we have fired the CEO who made the wrong decision, and now we would like to continue working. This is true story. It's not marketing. I can tell you. So that was really hard, but that was the truth. We're really thankful to our customers who made the donations and help to those people who are in transit, who lost their homes, their houses. So we actually, from day one, we have received significant, really amazing support from our customers, but also from our team. During the first, I think, 3-4 days, we have gathered more than 300,000 hryvnias from our personnel just donated immediately. We have doubled or tripled this amount as a company, and that obviously through the course of the full-scale war, we continue supporting our military forces and also our mobilized colleagues. So in general, I think we have donated and continuously donating more than like $5 million approximately during the 4 years. One of the things that has changed, we have put a lot of our focus also not only to the civilian technology, but also to dual-use defense, obviously. With the partners from Ukraine, we have created the defense incubator for small garage defense companies of Ukraine. Hopefully we'll speak more about that today as well, because that's extremely important to work together on these innovations. And we can really see that even if like there is a lack of IT orders somewhere, those people are moving to the defense companies because the software component in the modern defense technologies is quite huge. When it comes to electronic warfare, when it comes to AI, drone operating, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really huge. That was a shift that we've also made. We continue delivering solutions to our clients in many different areas, but we have added quite significant defense part to it.
Yeah, thanks for raising that. In fact, I think that's one of the adaptations to the war. And I heard from all three of you that you have adapted not just your business, but you're actually figured out quickly how you can actually help your country using your business. And I would love to hear more about that. And one of the areas is cybersecurity, because the war is on many fronts. You have the physical front, you have the airstrikes, but we all know that cybersecurity is a genuine, real threat. Now, you work in the sphere. maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, and then I'll pose the question to how the two of you've also adapted your businesses to support Ukraine's defense in any way you want to answer that.
Yeah, cybersecurity is an important part of our services that we provide currently to our clients because obviously, Ukraine in general and the Ukrainian IT companies, they are constantly under attack of the hackers from the different not friendly countries. We all know them. However, that helps us to build this extremely good skills and knowledge how to protect ourselves and how to help our customers to protect themselves. Currently, we can see a lot of movements towards more serious regulations in the area. And I have heard that in Canada, there is also, it's like a very complex abbreviation, don't remember that, but that comes to the regulations for the companies who are working in the critical infrastructure, how they manage the risks, how they manage cybersecurity threats, how they react on that. And we are, not only us, but also other Ukrainian IT companies have a lot of knowledge in this area. Also, in Europe, there are a lot of new regulations as well, like NIS, for instance, which are really, really strong regulations to many different types of the companies to protect their data, with a really strong fines that currently a lot of European countries are adopting this legislation. Also, DORA, Digital Operation Resilience Act, which is active in Europe, that if native companies would like to work in Europe, normally they have to go through these certifications, and we could help them to do that because we are working with many European countries. For example, we are working a lot with Sweden, with Germany, with Portugal, many different countries. And we know all of these differences because every country adopts legislation in their own way. And we know those differences. And basically, we are really open and we could help the companies to be prepared for these really serious risks, because this war is already going, and it's a kind of a world security war. Probably you remember about the situation when the whole Iberian Peninsula was cut off electricity for almost a full day, like the part of France, whole Spain, and whole Portugal, which is extremely, it hasn't happened before, never. And immediately the case was classified by the Spanish government. And then obviously everyone said that it's not a cybersecurity attack, but we all know that it was a cybersecurity attack. And I think that it's extremely important that we unite our forces, that our allies, to be prepared for these kind of threats.
Panna said, I would love for you to talk a little bit more. So you mentioned being obviously in energy, you are a target, right? And you spoke about that a little bit. Is cybersecurity something that affects you in terms of, or just curious? It could be a short answer.
Cybersecurity is very important, the critical issue in any business. In any business, especially when you work with the medium customers, and things our cybersecurity team. We found this team since 2017 or something like that, and we worked. We found working, and we probably create the most advanced security system in corporate segment, and we had any accident. We had an accident during this years, and also we work with our specialists also work with the EBRD technical team, and EBRD technical team also provides the audit of our cybersecurity basis. And was very appreciated. Then we have the high standards of cybersecurity now.
Can I ask you a question? So you are providing a service now in energy, which is really critical. do you have time to think about longer term planning, transformation, renewals that everyone's talking about? Tell us about that, please.
Okay. Now we have to not only think about it, but we also do have it as well. A few years ago, we saw that our market was dropped dramatically, and our market continued to drop from year to year because due to the occupied territory, due to the level of immigration from Ukraine, and most of our customers also leave the country as I suppose temporary, and we have approximately 20% drop starting the 2022 in tons and liters in volume of sales and market at all. Thanks our team and thanks our long-term planning in the past. We increased during the war. We increased our market share, but in any case, we made decision to do something else and to go to the industries which will demonstrate the sustainable growth during next decade or something like that. And then we made decision to go to energy sector, to renewables, and just last year we start to build the windmills in Western Ukraine. 150 megawatt of wind power station now is almost installed. We plan to put under operation the third part of all capacity, and in January the rest two-thirds of the capacity. And also we already prepaid the turbines for new wind project in the same region, the same Volhynia region. The bigger one, for 190 megawatts of capacity, and we see that the huge opportunity, especially when during the war was destroyed, almost 70% of all generating capacity in Ukraine, and we effectively in the energy sector right now we have the red like blue ocean, especially renewables. We also install the battery storages, and we also have now a pipeline more than 200 megawatt of battery electricity storage, and also we have in pipeline the 2 new wind power capacity as well. And our target to 2030 is around 0.8 gigawatt in wind power capacity, about 250 megawatts in battery storages, and also 250 megawatts in solar panels as well. Also, we see the huge opportunity in agri-processing business, and also due to the new requirements to add the bio component to the fuel. This requirement is already exist, but it will be put under pure obligation from the 1st July next year, and we start to prepare on it. And now we have under construction the biggest bioethanol plant in Ukraine, in Ternopil region, and I believe the half of them is already built. Now we installed the equipment for bioethanol processing, and we plan to put on the operation in the one the next year.
So it sounds that in both of your sectors, you were able to adapt and actually help Ukraine with the war on in some of the main areas, critical infrastructure is being attacked, and we know and energy is required. We need to adapt. And with IT, is the same. Would you say it's the same with logistics? Oh my goodness, like I know that logistic is now something that is a priority for Ukraine as they need to figure out how to those goods in and out military goods safely because they are basically increasingly under attack. How do you adjust it to that adaptation? Couldn't have been easy.
Absolutely, Natalka, absolutely. Great question, because, we've been a test bed for all kind of challenges, attacks, right? Energy security, cyber security, physical infrastructure. So everything was tested very heavily. Tested, of course, it's not the point of the destroyers or damage of the infrastructure, but it's the people. People is the crucial, right? So we have the main point is to save the lives of our employees. And it was devoted to the whole set of initiatives and action plans just to test and to put the very severe standards just to save lives. Okay, we can have an attack on terminal, depot, or whatever, but we have to save people, and this is most important. And fortunately, we managed to do this, right? Because all these new protocols and regulations which comes from business is really very effective and very powerful. So we can really bring our expertise to whatever sector outside Ukraine. And when we have similar discussions, for example, in Brussels, they say it's not up to us to teach you to something, but it's for us to learn from you. So how you can actually handle these issues. And definitely it was very critically important because from the first phase of the war, where, for example, their brands and shopping were closed. No FedEx, no UPS, they, didn't operate in all this for almost 2 years. So we have a lack of capacity to do this, but we had severe, electricity outages. We have lots of challenges which just ordinary people had to manage and to cope with. So it was critical to provide this. So they ordered all the necessary instruments, equipments just to survive. Right, and it was actually a very important, actions which helped people to be on foot, to stand forth, right? And not only to stand forth, but to do that, to start to operate the business, to open the shops, the cafes, whatever. So they have this resilience all the way, yes. But it's a matter of regulations. When my colleagues talked about this as a regulation, it was a very, very good communication between government and business. It was the point and stage when business really gained its subjectiveness. It was not an object for the standard, because from the very first phase of the war, the government was and it was business who really tried to do this and try to be flexible how to reach the deal, how to do this everything. So, the matter of regulation, for example, when people and SME sector, they started bring generators, right, or the power stations, solar panels, we equipped all our facilities, right? So we became as independent as possible from the central, power, from the central gas, from the central heating system. So it was really the regulation procedure, because we sat down with the officer from the Office of President and see, here's a roadmap, how we can just eliminate the regulatory barriers, how we make all SME affordable and do this. And it was very quick adopted, right? This was really that way when the government and business worked together on joint solutions, which were very instrumental and helpful for the whole sectors, for the whole business, for general people. And of course, it's the matter of maturity of Ukrainian business, because all these instruments and the conditions and the environment, you can die or just you don't have any other options. But of course, it's the edification, it's the community building, it's the approach. It's what Ukrainian people hadn't practiced before. Yeah? So it's very isolated. It's not our matter, but then they just started to unite it into neighbors. There was a lot, of course, there are programs intended for assistance programs, how to do export, how to do trade, how to meet the standards, and it was really effective from this. So combinations of factors, they just change the environment, they just change this new normality into what people now live. So Ukraine business is getting more mature. So now is that at this stage, it's not the matter of asking for the community aid and support, it's the matter of joint actions, to build partnerships, to be available and acceptable for partnerships, and to have joint investment projects, right? And to demonstrate to foreign investors how to do business in Ukraine in this reality. It's not to wait until the war ends, but to start ready to trade now. So that's very important.
Yeah, I'll take that opportunity to thank you and other businesses in Ukraine, because what a disaster that would be if you had left. So it's thank you very much, because you stayed, and like you said, you problem solved, you adapted, you provided services that otherwise would not have happened. So yeah, it's important to acknowledge that. And we've been talking a lot about innovation, and how, if you're comfortable sharing, how nimble were you? Or were you able to adjust? Did you have any challenges or any resistance to change from your own team or anyone else? Just sort of curious to know. Or did you have the opposite experience? You have people ready to move, roll up their sleeves and move forward? And then if you could tie that into, because you had mentioned other businesses, how motivated were you to encourage other smaller businesses to also develop? Do you feel that you played a role? Open it up. Who would like to answer that first? I know it's not on our list. It's just a question I just came up with. So.
Yeah, I could do it. And if you allow me, I would compliment a little bit to my colleagues from the Nova Post about the support of our government, which was not only government but also service companies. Incredible support that we have received throughout the whole full-scale invasion, but also during the first days. Our minister for IT sector is Michael Fedoruk, who is currently Prime Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Digital Transformation, who has made a lot of amazing transformations for digital services for Ukrainian citizens in Ukraine. Now we have this DIA app, which is a single point of connection to all of the government services. I haven't seen the better app in the world, frankly speaking. I'm traveling a lot. We have customers everywhere, but this one is obviously the best one. And for the resilience of the IT businesses, for us, it's the connection is very, very important. The internet connection, obviously. And the first thing which Michael Fedoruk made, he made a tweet post to Elon Musk. Give us Starlinks. He reacted immediately, as he normally does. And he gave us Starlinks. And IT service companies received, product companies as well, received those Starlinks. And frankly speaking, we have not used it that much. It's a really serious game changer and support on the front line, obviously. But we haven't, in the civilian life, we haven't used them that much because our for example, mobile operator, one of the biggest one, Kyivstar, who is currently probably the first Ukrainian company on NASDAQ, on the stock exchange, they really made so serious efforts to decentralize the infrastructure. So we have never had this problem with the internet connection. It's not only about Kyivstar, but also about other internet providers. So. And that's why we were able to show to our clients that we are resilient. Even if we will have problems, then we will just continue working, no problems. Obviously, all of our offices are equipped with the generators. My colleague said that we started to build independence of everything, and decentralization, and that actually makes us resilient. I know some friends referred back to this blackout on the Iberian Peninsula, and some of the Ukrainians were calling to each other who were outside of Ukraine and Ukraine, and people from Ukraine was like calling those who are there, saying like, maybe you need some help with generators or eco flows. We could send some. We have no problems in Ukraine, actually. So yeah, and that really helps us to understand how to make yourself and your business resilient to the external threats. And I think it's very important. We have more and more technologies coming into our lives, and especially at AI, obviously, and IT technologies. And We need to find out how we could be robust and still build it our businesses. And that's why we see that a lot of regulations appear in the cybersecurity, because our data, which came to the cloud already long time ago, and it's not safe, and we have to make sure that it's safe, because it's the safety of our society, of our people. And you have also referred to the small businesses, and I think, well, in Ukraine, when the war has started, that everyone, maybe during the first year, maybe more, worked without vacations, without celebrations, without anything, and that everyone was like those small businesses helped, like small restaurants and cafes helped military people and provided the free food, a lot of things. And I think that at that time, we didn't speak much to each other how we could help. So someone like raising hand, we need help here. Oh, definitely, no problem. Even right now, we still have the same situation. I'm from Kharkiv, and unfortunately, sometimes civilian objects are under attack as well. And when it happens, like everyone is like, oh, we have a free office for you, we have a free space for you, whatever. And people just feel that that they really have a lot of threats around them, and that's extremely important during these hard times.
Thank you for that. Anurasi?
Well, as I told before, we are a company who provides service for the medium clients, and technology is very important for us. We operate most of the biggest, I think biggest loyalty program in the country with 9 million customers, and all the services which we give our million clients need to be secure, need to be innovative, because even during the war, our customers is feel a high requirement for any advanced company who work on the Ukrainian market, and they need a new service. Before the war, we had a self-service in our loyalty program, in our app, but it was very difficult to explain to the customer, let's do this, let's use this service. It was impossible to do this, and percentage to use self-service on the gas station was quite low. But the war was started, and we had the restriction to be on the street after 6 p.m. Everybody immediately started to use the self-service, because effectively the whole gas station were closed. The personnel leave the gas station at the 6 p.m. or something, or even sooner, and step by step the customers start to use self-service on the pumps. That's a good story. We also have started during the war. We started to use the self-service inside the station, and we also this year we plan completely upgrade our gas station, and we plan to build the new Focus 30 station, which will be like evolution of the set age of our station, the network, and I suppose the new age of Oko station will be very appreciated by our customers.
Thank you very much. Perhaps I'll ask you a slightly different question. So I asked them to talk about smaller innovation. I would hope you could talk a little bit more about your expansion to the board, including potentially Canada, from what I understand.
Absolutely, but let me just answer previously what I was with it, because It is really about very important in terms of strategy and management and human resources and capital. It's vital important. It's not success, it's a rest, right? So this was the personal commitment of, it's a combination of personal commitments of top managers like CEO, top managers, middle levels of everyone. So everyone wanted to do at his or her stages the maximum of efficiency, right? It's the personal commitment because we wanted to be helpful and we didn't have much time, so we have to do it very promptly. And of course, there are also a few humanitarian stuff. So we just launched the point system for charity fund, right? So they can ship for free. So they have each charity foundation, they have accredited or certified, they have number of points they can spend during a month. It's actually still ongoing practice, right? For business who wanted to relocate. So it was a separate programs for that. So every additional or separate sectors required request was met with something new, which is not, existed before. But at the same time, the standards for shipment, it was the same. It is the same for 24 hours, even less. Even when it's a bombshell, even there is a terminal or damage or whatsoever, we have the mobile branches. We have alternative solutions how to have this, set of mobile branches. They keep on service the next day when it was the attack. So is the minimum delay for this, right? And it's still 1,300 kilometers from east to west within 24 hours. So that's why the standards are very high for this. And that's why Ukrainian people who just left the country, they wanted the same kind of services. They want the same kind of services that they cannot actually receive in Europe, right? But now we have operations within, say, 16 countries, currently going to Canada. Why not Canada? But before this, because, of course, there is the next wait stage from the emotional would be professional, right? So the emotional wave is over. So we have to think what you have done. Yeah. Is that okay? Is the framework workable? Is the framework really beneficial? So, and of course, the shareholders, they consider all these patterns and all these models within Europe because we have to shift from emojis to partnerships, to corporations, where we have in each single territory, we have local partners for major partners and major players, but our partners. So that's why we build partnerships. So this is really was very unique for this, right? So now, of course, we have to reinforce our stack. We have to understand how the regulatory framework is there, what is the culture, religious, whatever. It's a different settlements. And of course, when it comes to the States, to Canada, right, it would have been earlier. But of course, there are a number of questions that had to be addressed. And now at this stage, of course, the Canadian market and Canadian political environment is really extremely beneficial for this because it's open. We have Canadian free trade agreement, something that not
Do you use it? Do you
Yes, we use it. We use it because actually we didn't know much about this, right? But now we had at some point we had checked of all these regions and we said, so listen, something we can develop and we can actually address. So that's why another point is that what I said is the building coalitions, right? Building alliances. So we initiated to Export Promotion Office together with Chamber of Commerce of Ukraine, together with BCUCC. Just let's do the public readiness because we have a number of programs which support export and import to European Union, but we don't have any workable and practical instruments how to make this business connection between Ukraine and Canada. We have 300,000 of Ukrainian people right now this week. So they came with expertise, with business, with knowledge, and understanding and ready to build a partnership to develop it. So we did this coalition, and there was an Africa. This is something interesting. So why don't we think and export to Canada because they have CUFTA. So with CUFTA, here's a checklist for us in CUFTA. So is the very practical list of these two toolkits, right? Which are easy toolkits actually, but it helps to bring this synergy, and it helps to help it peer-to-peer communication. Because when Ukrainian business ask and see the practical example of success story of business like his, for sure, is the most important signal, right? Not theory, but just practice. So we know about this issue. So we have expert school, we have corporate university, we have number of educational components for Ukrainian business. So that's why it is open for business. It is open, first of all, for SME sector. And we are happy to provide this expertise and serve as mentors all this way. So this is something that, can help us to, build this partnership and consider really seriously the candidates, market states to Ukraine and Canadian business.
Thank you for that. I feel like I flunked it, but it was great. I think what I would like to hear now, if you're comfortable answering, we've talked a lot in the day today about how do we attract Canadian business to Ukraine. Is there a need for Canadian business in Ukraine, or do you feel like the markets are well covered? And if so, where do you think Canadian investors or companies, like what areas would you like to partner more and have them involved in Ukraine if you had a magic wand?
A few years ago, our group were investors and shareholders in insurance business. And a few years in 2019, we exited from this business, and this business, together with another big Ukrainian insurance company, was acquired by Firefighter. And we continue to have a good relationship with them. And we also think about the cooperation and in different directions of business, which are focus now in our development. And we happy to work with them. We're happy to work with them, and we prefer to have the long-term partnership because, for example, the industry, energy production, where do we go right now? It's a quite expensive business, and the capex intense business. And thanks our long-term partners, EBRD, IFC, BSTDB, with whom we worked more than 20 years. And we are happy to work together. We with the EBRD many years ago been our shareholder. We successfully buy back them and make them a lot of money and good IRR on this investment. They are also happy with this, and they continue to have the good relationship with us, and also another members of Ukraine facility, like UK fund. For example, in our last project in second wind power plant in Volyn region, we have in our syndicate EBRD, IFC, BSTDB, UK fund, and Sweden fund as well. And on our next project, we will have North Fund and European Investment Bank as well. And that's mean that the long-term the cooperation between not only IFIs but also the different members of Ukraine facility and the private funds, so private business from Canada. It's possible, and it will be much more safety, but for them to be on the umbrella of IFIs or somebody else like IFIs. Yeah, and in my view, Ukraine the Ukraine have a huge numbers of real good companies with good reputation and long-term good history. And if somebody want to cooperate with Ukrainian business, it's only It's only interesting about the history of the company, the reputation of the company, and I'm sure then the Canadian business who first start to cooperate with the Ukrainian business, especially in the industries which are now start to develop or have a huge opportunity, huge new unique opportunity due to the different circumstances which we start to respond during the war. They will success in it.
Perhaps you can tell us a little bit from your perspective.
Of course, it's my favorite question, how we could cooperate, how Ukraine can cooperate with our allies and with Canada, with Canadian companies. One of the things which we have also done, just like 2 months before the full-scale invasion, we started the venture fund together with a few Ukrainian IT companies. And since the beginning of the war, we have invested into more than 33 IT companies. It's a civilian services with the Ukrainian founders. I'm saying with Ukrainian founders because they could have companies elsewhere as well in the world. Just to name a few of the names of the companies that we have invested in, it's Liki24, very well-known company delivering pharmacy to your doorstep. And another one like HiQ, it's a quantum computing, which was started by 2 engineers from Ukraine and currently was invested by the big companies like Toyota and many others. So first thing, co-invest with us into Ukrainian product companies that will definitely become unicorns. And when it comes to Ukrainian unicorns, probably most of you are using like Grammarly, for instance. It's Ukrainian founders. Preply, obviously, it's a platform for teachers, different aspects and languages. IX Systems, it's a security system which are being sold everywhere in the world. And obviously, defense sector is very important. So I believe that during the next 5 years, quite a few defense companies from Ukraine will become unicorns. Just understand the sizes of the rounds that Ukrainian companies, defense companies are raising now. It could be $4 million. It's the size of the round. It's not the size of the company. So meaning that the company valuation is like $30+ million. $15 million funds. The company called Slaughter, I'm speaking about those who are publicly available, that you could find the information about them, which is automatic operation of the different number of drones, which really helps to with the effective number of army military personnel to protect the borders. Because if you have one operator which can operate like hundreds of drones by himself, and AI helps him to do that, then it's a next step of defense. So let's invest together into product companies, into defense companies of Ukraine.
Yeah, all 3 of you are very inspiring. I wonder, just because we have like in 30 seconds each, if you could share with the room something that you're particularly proud of or surprised that you ended up doing that you didn't expect. So something innovative or a future project related to how you adjusted. Anything that surprised you in 30 seconds. You could say anything.
But I think for Nova Post is to keep its mark brands. Despite all the challenges, is a success for this, right? So this we can even make it say like this, because is there a set of standards and requirements very high that people in Ukraine are demanding from Ukrainian business, from the communities and around neighborhood. So it's real essentials, and to keep up these high standards, it costs a lot.
For me, it was a surprise how changed the feelings of the Ukrainian before the war and during the war, and what was important for Ukrainians before the war and important right now. And which businesses love market? What does it mean love market for Ukraine as for Ukrainians? And even during the war, for most of Ukrainians, the landmark business mean the business is, first of all, reputable. The businesses have the high level of responsibility. The business is about the tax payment behavior, and the supporting the high level of supporting the society from business side, the society and the army as well. And I was very surprised when we start our action, IPO and I, on our organization, and we already like lead or support Ukrainian army and society as well for different projects of renovation, rebuilding, etc. We spent during the war approximately 3.3 billion hryvnia, which means like more than $80 million, and for our nation, for our people, is very important. And if they feel and if they see them, the business is have the high responsibility and high responsible for and support the country, support the people, and demonstrate the high standard of good behavior. This is much more important for them than the something else.
Thank you. And Valeni?
I think that the most exciting thing for me is how Ukrainians were able to keep the highest level of service during the war. Obviously, I'm very happy speaking about my team, our engineers, who provided all of these deliverables to our clients, but also really happy speaking about my colleagues. UPCO is the best gas station, to my opinion, in Ukraine. And the first thing I do when I go back from the business trip on the car, that I'm going to open and trying the hot dog. So if you haven't tried that, please do. And obviously, our post is an amazing, the best post service in Europe. If you compare it to those guys like I don't even mention the names, so our post is always the best. So the ability of Ukrainians to keep the highest level of service is incredible.
And I want to thank all three of you for coming to Canada. And thank you very much for everything that you're doing outside of your business to support your communities. It really shows that you're leading with your heart. So thank you again.
And thank you, Ambassador, for a very simple job.